Heracles had come to Mount Erymanthus in search of a boar that was said to come down from the mountain and ravage the surrounding areas. His task was to bring it back alive, so he had to figure out a way to bring it down without harming it. It was along a narrow clearing where the trees began to thin that he first met Pholus. The centaur did not startle at his approach. He turned as though he had already been aware of Heracles for quite some time and had a look of curiosity on his face.
It's clear you have come for the boar, but you are in greater danger than you realize. You should not be here, friend.
Heracles acknowledged the boar was his task, but he didn't ask what Pholus meant by greater danger. If he had, perhaps what happens next might have turned out differently.
It does not flee. It comes down from the mountain when it chooses, and whatever stands before it must decide where to run, or they will be overtaken by the boar.
Soft snow blew from the peaks as Heracles looked up, listening to the warning and advice being given. Pholus's tail suddenly flicked and his four legs shuffled him around quickly.
They have seen you. Please listen to them before you act. Strength that answers every challenge isn't strength at all.
Heracles turned, and a rush of movement answered his unspoken question. Other centaurs were emerging from between the trunks and shadows, gathering with the certainty of those who believed they had every right to stand where they stood.
We've heard of you.
Another snorted through his nose and stomped the frozen ground.
You don't just fight. Things end when you arrive.
A third voice came from the back, lower and sharper than the rest.
Even your own home wasn't safe from you.
And now you've brought it here. To us.
The words were measured, but the judgment behind them was not. To them, he was no harmless passing traveler. He was a man who carried disaster with him. I did not come for you, but I won't let you get in my way either, Heracles said. This was their territory, and centaurs are proud creatures who do not suffer insults from uninvited guests. The space between them narrowed. Pholus remained where he was, neither joining them nor abandoning his new friend. And what he said made it clear that he understood how quickly moments like this could turn bad.
Please, brothers, let this pass. Not everything needs to end in blood.
A few of the centaurs stomped the earth in unison, creating a beat like drums. Shields and spears clanged while the sound rolled through the trees. From the back of the group, a jagged stone came hurling at Heracles, who turned just as it passed his shoulder. The next movement came from instinct, a battle reflex that happened faster than thought. Heracles drew his bow, turned, and loosed a volley of arrows before the stone hit the ground. But these arrows were not ordinary ones. These arrows had been dipped in the venomous blood of the Hydra after the creature fell. What touched the Hydra's poison would not only experience extreme pain, but death was also a guarantee. The centaurs who were not hit by arrows retreated into the trees, realizing that this was something they were no match for. Heracles lowered the bow immediately, not realizing how effective the arrows were. Too effective, and he felt great shame. He had not meant for the heated moment to become a battle. He did not mean to cause suffering, but meaning and consequence are not always the same. Pholus did not look at the wounded, but at Heracles himself, measuring the cost of strength and kindness to strangers. Before either of them could speak, the mountain answered and ended further conversation. The earth trembled, branches cracked above them. Boulders rolled and cracked down the mountainside as the boar came charging down. It burst through the trees with a force that was massive, furious, and heading toward the clearing. The remaining centaurs scattered, Pholus among them. Heracles alone remained in the path of the boar. He did not meet the charge head-on, though. Instead, he moved aside and turned its charge, driving it back up the mountain to the snow and ice. The boar lunged and thundered after him, but its own weight began to betray it. Step by step, the climb became heavier as the ground softened beneath it. When the creature plunged deep into a snowdrift, Heracles pounced, wresting the remaining strength from it. Then he bound the boar and led it down from the mountain, leashed and ready for delivery. Another labor had been completed, but back in Mycenae, Eurystheus was not finished yet. He had learned by now that careless wording could be turned against him. The hind had taught him that much. So the next labor was very specific. Heracles was then sent to Elis, a rich land ruled by King Augeas. His house was said to be descended from Helios, god of the sun, whose golden chariot carries it across the sky to make the day.
You're the one he's been sending around, Heracles.
The king paused, almost shrugging.
I was told you might come.
Augeas turned and began to walk, expecting Heracles to follow.
I think King Eurystheus means for you to handle something for me in a particular way.
The land opened wide, and herds stretched farther than the eye could follow.
3,000 cattle, and they do not die.
He gave a small, almost dismissive breath through his nose.
Strong and restless. They have brought my kingdom great wealth, but they don't take well to being kept.
Then he gestured towards the stables.
As you might imagine, keeping the stables clean in the last 30 years has never been simple. No one has been able to clear them in all that time.
Augeas glanced back at him.
Now, Eurystheus was very specific about how this task was supposed to be accomplished. He said it needed to be completely cleaned in a single day.
There would be no argument over meaning this time. No clever turn of phrase, and no creature escaping at the final moment. If the work was unfinished by sunset, then it was a failure. And if it was finished, it would still be the work of a servant. This, too, was part of the design. But impossible work does not become smaller simply because others laugh at it. Heracles then walked the grounds and quickly understood that no shovel could finish this labor in one day. He had to think outside of the box. 2 rivers ran nearby, swift and constant, carrying more power in an hour than any man could summon in years. The sound of the rivers running gave him an idea. Before he began, Heracles wanted to strike a bargain with King Augeas. "If I clean them in a single day," he said, "would you give me 1/11 of the earth in return?" Augeas looked over the endless filth, the towering stalls, the years of neglect, and laughed.
Well, why not? Such a thing seems impossible. I don't see how I have anything to lose.
So the next day, Heracles worked most of the morning to break open channels of earth and stone and turned the rivers from their course. Water thundered across the land, rushing through the stables with a force that washed away the years of filth in a single sweeping roar. Where there had once been stench and neglect, there was now clean ground again. By sunset, the stables were clean and the rivers were restored to their course. But when Heracles returned for the reward, Augeas denied the bargain.
No true king pays for labor done under command.
Whether from greed, pride, or fear of losing what he had promised, the result was the same. Heracles would receive nothing. As Heracles began the road back to Mycenae, he remembered that the oracle had not spoken only of punishment. She had said that these labors would lead him to immortality. Until now, those words had felt distant, almost impossible. But he was halfway done now. The road ahead was still long. For the first time, it seemed like it was pointing toward glory. Back in Mycenae, another command was already waiting. Not beast, not man, but something that ruled the sky. Thank you for spending time here at Mesa's place. If you'd like to continue the journey, you can subscribe and return when you're ready. You're always welcome here.